Bree actually got called into work today. She's supposed to be getting off between 7 and 7:30. So I'm going to just jump in and do her part, and then I'm actually the speaker for tonight, and I'm really, really excited for what I have planned. I'm a little nervous. I've never really spoken on a team call in terms of presenting things, so I might be all over the place, but what I'm going to talk about, I'm super passionate about, and I think it's really important for new coaches to kind of grasp the concepts that I'll talk about. It has to do with mindset and inviting, which is really important, because inviting is a super scary thing. And it's also really important for like seasoned coaches or coaches that have been around for a little bit longer, because I just think it's really good to have like a gut check on how you're doing and why you're doing the things that you do. And so this is our May call for purposes of recording. We are being recorded right now. So, and Bree should be hopping on between probably around 7, hopefully by 7:15, 7:30 or so. But my name is Samantha, and I've been a coach with Team Soul Sister Fitness since December of last year. So it's been a little bit of time. I'm actually helping Bree run my 5th challenge group this month. It's really awesome. And so that's I'll tell a little bit more about me in a little bit, but I just wanted to do our April Success Club points and give a couple of shout outs and recognition for that. So for April, we had Bree with 14 Success Club points. So hooray. Kinsey with 10, Taylor with 10, myself with 6, Asia with 4, and Jesse with 2. So that's awesome. As a team, I think we did really well. And I just wanted to give a couple of new coach shout outs. So Charisse, and then also Kennedy, thanks for being on the call tonight. We're really, really excited to have both of you join our team. It's a small team, and we're growing pretty rapidly. And I think we're going to go to big places sooner rather than later. So I'm really excited to have you all on the team. And so, okay, so I think, what time is it? I might just wait like another minute to see if anybody else jumps on. As long as you guys can still hear me, we're good. I'm just going to pop in our group real quick and post that our meeting is going on. Okay, so let's get down to business. Let's see. So like I said, my name is Samantha, and I'm going to tell you a little about my story first before I jump into mindset and inviting. Mindset and personal development are something that I have found over the last couple of months, last 6 months or so, that I'm actually very passionate about. Oh, Charisse. Okay, cool. At least you can hear me. Sorry, Charisse just sent me a message saying that she can hear me, so that's awesome. Okay, so my name is Samantha. Been a coach for about 6 months now, and I have recently, in the last 6 months or so, discovered that personal development and mindset is actually something that I'm super, super passionate about, more so than any other aspect about Beachbody and the business. Everything else I really love as well, but personal development and that mindset is super important to me. And I think that my background has a lot to do with how important it's become to me. So a little bit about myself. I'm 29 years old. I graduated from college in 2010, high school in 2006. When I was in high school and throughout most of my life, I've been a pretty active individual. I danced for 15 years, ballet, tap, jazz, tried my hand at hip hop, can't do it. And so I was pretty active, and I never really had an issue with my weight. But if you've ever been in the dance world, there are definitely some, I guess, hangups or some issues that people, whether they're put on you or you just automatically pick them up. I think it's common for most people, whether they're in that dance world or not. But you pick up on these insecurities with your body, and I definitely did. When I was a senior, I decided to become a vegetarian. Not any particular reason why I did that. I just was like, I think I'm gonna become a vegetarian. So I did for about a year or so. And I ended up getting really sick because I wasn't getting enough protein in my diet. Because I didn't really know what healthy eating was. You could totally be a vegetarian and eat super healthy and get enough protein and not get sick like I did, but I had no idea what I was doing, and so that contributed to being sick. I ended up, when I went to college, I gained the freshman 15 and then some because I had access to a cafeteria and it was unlimited food. I stopped dancing completely because my degree wasn't anywhere close to that field or anything like that. In fact, I'm an English major. I got my bachelor's in English literature, so I did a lot of sitting around, a lot of reading, and a lot of writing of essays. And I kind of lost for about the first year of college when I went away, I lost that activity in my life, and I didn't have any idea what active lifestyle was at that point, and I also didn't know what healthy eating was. And so I gained the freshman 15, and some doubts that I had in high school about my body came creeping back in, just insecurities about the way I looked, and just generally not fitting in with people. I felt like everyone else around me was super small, and in order to be accepted, I also had to be really small. I actually developed an eating disorder. I was probably my second month into college, and I figured I feel like I had been developing this eating disorder for a couple of months previous to going to college, but I was actually bulimic for about 8 months or so, my first year of being away from home. And that's actually a really tough thing to talk about, just generally. Eating disorders have a really negative stigma to them, and it's hard to talk about. I don't think it's something that's talked about enough, especially with young women. And it has nothing to do, a lot of eating disorders don't really have anything to do with your body image or trying to be skinny or health at all. In fact, most eating disorders stem from shame or guilt or trying to fit in, and there's other reasons why people are resorting to drastic measures to change the way they look in order to fit in. So bulimia is characterized by frequent binge eating and then followed up by extreme efforts to purge your body of that food that you ate. And for me, the purging came in the form of throwing up. Some people exercise an extreme amount, but I ended up binging and purging for about 8 months or so. And logically, I knew that this wasn't a very good thing or a healthy thing for me. Aside from the physical effects of being bulimic and throwing up your food that you eat, there are tons of negative mental effects that creep in, and it just becomes a vicious cycle. You don't feel very good, and you don't accept who you are, so you binge eat, and then you throw it up, and then you are ridden with guilt. So it was a very vicious cycle for about 8 months or so. I did end up seeking help from the college counselor, which was probably the best move that I could have made ever. I went to counseling for about 3 to 4 months or so, and I talked with the counselor. I also had my sister who was really helpful, and I ended up stopping the purging part, and that was awesome for multiple reasons. But the thing is that I never really stopped the binge eating. I adopted a healthier lifestyle the last couple of years of college. I ran 15 to 20 miles a week. I ate a ton of vegetables, but I would still go home at the end of the day and eat a pint of ice cream. And I refused to feel bad about it. Well, I refused to feel bad about it so much that I would go throw up, but I did feel bad about it. And so binge eating is actually its own eating disorder in itself. And I think a lot of people indulge in that. And I don't want to say indulge, that kind of I think is the wrong word to use. But so I've been a binge eater for the last 7 or 8 years. And that could be anywhere from eating a pint of ice cream in one sitting, multiple times a week, to eating an entire family-sized bag of Doritos, to, anything and everything. And that's not something, it's a compulsion. So it's not something that I felt like I could help because I wasn't mentally strong enough to overcome that compulsion. And I think a lot of people just generally, I didn't look unhealthy. In fact, I was still carrying around some extra weight. I didn't look unhealthy. I didn't look like someone who'd had eating disorders. And I think a lot of people don't look like they have eating disorders. A lot of people exist kind of in this middle ground where, they're not super skinny and they're not super obese. They're kind of right in the middle. They don't have good eating habits. And in some way or another, they do have a binge eating disorder, or they are bulimic like I was. And it's a tough thing to think about and to talk about. Even now, after so many years, I still get a little choked up because of all the emotions that entails. So anyways, I feel like I've expounded upon that a lot, but all of that to say that this is how I came to be like in this state of mind when I was introduced to Beachbody. About 2 years ago, I started really heavy duty working out. I went to a morning boot camp class 5 days a week, and I did my own workouts on the weekend, but I was still eating whatever and whenever I wanted. So indulging in that binge eating mentality and going for it. And my motto was, I work out so I can eat, which is not necessarily the right motto to have if you're not fueling your body with the food that you need. And I didn't have that. So let's see, I was working out pretty heavily. I didn't know why I wasn't losing weight because, man, I was working out so hard. And the classes I was going to were so great. And then last year I was watching Bree, who I've known for a number of years now. I was watching her on Facebook and her posts and just talking to her in person. And she had started this challenge group, and she wanted to clean up her eating, and she wanted all these things. And I was watching her from afar. And I saw all the positivity that this challenge was bringing her. I was a little skeptical at first because I'm the kind of person who I was seeking out anything and everything that would help me lose weight and at least try to help me feel like I would fit in. I've done Advocare, I've done Whole30, I've done juice cleanses. I've tried going off of sugar for 30 days. I've done all these different things. And yes, they work for a period of time, but they're not sustainable, at least for myself. If they are for you, awesome, but they weren't sustainable for myself. So I watched Bree for a couple of months, and then she became a coach, and she extended the invitation to me to do one of her challenges. And again, a little skeptical. I was still in that mindset of working out to eat. I already have a great workout schedule. I'll give it a try. She kept talking about and posting about helping her out, and I figured, why not? I mean, I've done everything else, so I might as well try it. I ended up buying my first challenge pack last July with the intent to start the challenge group in August. I got to about, I think, day 8 or 9, maybe 10, and I said, nope, not doing it. I just wasn't in the right mindset, so I stopped halfway in, and it was really stupid. But again, it's all about timing with these kinds of lifestyle changes, and I just wasn't in that space where I was ready to commit to something that would really change my life. So that was in August. September, October came around, and I was 30 days from going on a vacation with my husband. So my husband and I didn't really take a honeymoon. We've been married for almost 5 years. We didn't take a honeymoon, so we were going on this big trip for the first time to St. Lucia, and I had this vision of like going to the beach and being on a catamaran and just exploring this tropical paradise. But then whenever I thought about it, I got really scared, like really a lot of anxiety, because I did not feel comfortable in my own skin. I didn't feel good about myself. And so the thought of going to an island where it's expected that I would wear a bikini or a swimsuit, whatever, on a beach was terrifying to me. I'm not one who's ever worn a bikini or a swimsuit confidently, even when I was 40 pounds lighter. And so I remember messaging Bree and telling her I'm all in for the next 30 days. As you know, challenge groups are 21 days. So I committed to a full 30 days before we left for vacation. And I went 110%. I worked out every single day. I meal prepped. My husband joined me on the meal prepping. I drank my Shakeology. And about 10 days in, I was at that point where I was like, oh my God, I could quit right now. And I'm, whatever. But I knew that I had made a commitment to myself, and I just pushed through. And let's just say that I'm glad that I did. In that 30 days, I lost about 8 pounds and I think 10 or 12 inches total, but it was more than just the weight or the inches lost for me. I was finally feeling good in my own skin, and that was only after 30 short days. I was feeling good in my skin. I had a community within that challenge group that was uplifting, and it fed something in my soul that was missing before in most of the fitness groups or things that I had done before. And I was being given information that that pertained to my own personal life and was easy enough that I could implement in my own life without feeling that I was cutting things out and that I wasn't living a life that I could be happy in. Like I said, the workouts weren't the biggest thing for me. I'd already had a pretty strenuous workout routine. It was the meal plan that was completely game-changing for me, that coupled with Shakeology and the community. The meal plan that's provided with most of the challenge packs is the 21-day fix with the portion control containers. And that meal plan, I'm just going to say it right now, is a lifesaver. I stopped binge eating after those 30 days, and I haven't looked back once in the last 6 months. And to think about that at such a short amount of time, and it's still scary for me to think about, oh my gosh, I could easily slip back into that. But I know that I have this community that I'm not going to, and is uplifting, and Team Soul Sister Fitness is actually a huge part of that for me. Bree is a huge part of that for me personally, and just checking into the challenge groups that we run monthly is a huge part of that for me, along with personal development. And so I lost my train of thought. I get super passionate about these groups because they're so important to so many people, and even to me on a personal level. But anyways, that's my background. I became a coach. Well, after the 30 days was over, I went on vacation and it was awesome. And Bree had mentioned to me before that she thought I'd make a great coach. And I was very like, I'm not a fit person. I don't think that I could do this. It's not something that, not that I'm not interested in, but I didn't see myself as a leader or as a person who would be able to help people realize their potential and realize that they could live a fuller life, even at the weight that they're at now. But after the 30 days, that was completely mind-changing for me. And I came back from vacation and I told Bree, let's do this. I signed up in December, and then helped run my first challenge group in January. And we've been kind of going full steam ahead ever since. Of course, there have been some stumbling blocks because I am a fairly new coach. I have the same anxieties and fears about like inviting and putting myself out there and sharing my story that I'm sure new coaches and anybody else listening to this call has. I just wanted to go into the next part of my talk where I kind of address some of the things that I've learned over the last 6 months and how powerful mindset is. I have like 1,000,001 notes. So let's get right into that. If you guys want, it's a little bit more interactive. Sharice, unfortunately, I don't think we can hear you, but Kennedy, if you want to respond or not, it's not a big deal if you don't. We'll go right into it. So let me drink some water first. So one of the biggest issues that most new coaches have is the idea of inviting people, messaging people, sending out those hey girl messages, and putting yourself out there, especially if you're an introvert, especially if you haven't used your social media as a means to connect with people outside of your immediate group of friends and family that you talk to on a more regular basis. And so I'm kind of going to just go over a mindset of how to think about or how to view talking to these people, like old high school friends or people from college you haven't talked to in a couple of years, or anything like that, just in general, because what Beachbody has created in its challenge packs and in its healthy lifestyle is a complete and comprehensive package, and we should not be afraid of sharing that opportunity with anyone and literally everyone that we meet. And that's something I'm still struggling with to a certain extent today, but it's been a lot easier since I've had kind of a mindset shift over the last month or so. So first and foremost, you sign as a coach, super excited. Everybody signs for a number of reasons, whether it's to make a little extra money on the side, whether it's to stay accountable for your own health and fitness, whether it's to pay for your Shakeology because you love it so much, whatever the purpose is, everybody has a reason why they signed up as a coach. And so a huge part of the mindset to be a successful coach, however you define success, Beachbody defines success to a certain extent as hitting Success Club every month, and that means helping 3 people a month, so you can hit Success Club 5. But a huge part of mindset and success is having a clear vision as to why you started coaching in the first place, and where do you want this to take you? What do you want this business to do for you in your life? And what do you want this business and what you have to offer? What do you want it to do for other people? The people that you ask to challenges, the people that you ask and extend the coaching opportunity to. Without a clear vision, you can't hardly go anywhere. And that's something that I had seriously been lacking, especially the first 4 months or so of me being a coach. I knew I wanted to help as many people as I can. I knew that I wanted to stay accountable for my own health. I knew I wanted all these things, but I didn't really have a clear vision exactly of what I wanted it to do for me, what this business could do for me personally. And so I want you to just take a minute right now and think about your answer to the questions that I asked. Where do you want this business to take you? What do you want it to do for you in your life, whether it's financially, health-wise, hey Bree, health-wise, or, and then what do you want it to do for people who you're inviting and extending the opportunity to? So take a minute and think about that. And it's a question that'll morph, the answer will morph over time, but take a second and think about your vision, what Beachbody is to you right now. Okay, so now you need to take a minute and think about your actions. And again, for new coaches, this might be something that you're still learning, the actions of how to coach, etc. But take a minute and just think about what your actions are and if they're lining up with where you are wanting your vision to take you. Do you think that your actions are leading you that way? The answer is probably no. I know it's been no for me for a very long time. And if it is no, or if you haven't even started, do not beat yourself up over it, because you can change those actions and you can correct your course to have your actions align with your vision. And you can start those actions today, whether that's jumping on your computer after this call and sending out 5 Hey Girl messages, or it's reading 15 minutes of personal development because you haven't done it today. Whatever the case is, you can start right here, right now, to make sure your actions change your course. Your actions are aligned with your vision. So vision is a huge part of your mindset and really getting you tuned into how to overcome your fear of inviting and just extending that opportunity to people. Bree and I went to a training last week presented by Kim Carver. He actually works for Beachbody. He's a field operations manager or something like that. Basically, he gets to do like my dream job, which is go around the country and give motivational speeches to coaches about how amazing the opportunity and the product and the community that Beachbody is for people, and really just light a fire under everyone and give you all these aha moments and help hopefully inspire you to become better coaches. Literally my dream job. But we went to this training on the 4 vital behaviors. And the biggest one that he talked about was on inviting. And that is one of our 4 vital behaviors: invite, invite, invite. The biggest thing to remember about this business is that it's all about helping people. Yes, Beachbody gives you a number, Success Club 5. Yes, we have all these goals like financially and number-wise that we want to meet and everything, but the sole purpose of this business overall is to help people. We are a business, we are a company of helping people, we are a company of people helping people. And so in order to help other people, you have to take yourself out of the equation. And so think about that for just a second. When you go to invite someone, think about what your fears are. Your fears, I know for me personally, my fears about inviting, or that someone will say no to me, that someone won't think, that the reason why someone says no to me is because they don't think that I'm a good coach, that they don't think that I'm fit enough to be a good coach, that they don't think whatever reason. When you are offering the opportunity to invite someone, you have to take yourself out of the equation, because you have all the answers at your fingertips, and it's just about taking your own fears and your own anxieties out of the equation and just saying, I'm here to help. Another huge part of being a Beachbody coach and having that right mindset is to create aspirational moments versus inspirational. So as you get more comfortable, I'm talking to the newer coaches, but even the coaches that aren't as new and still have an issue with posting to social media, or trying to figure out what kind of content to post on social media, I just want to take a moment and talk about aspirational versus inspirational. The definition of inspiration is, it's like words or an action that inspires or moves your intellect or emotions. So, an inspirational quote will make you feel good, or it'll make you feel like, yes, I can go work out, or something like that. So that's what inspiration is. When you talk about aspiration, the definition of that is a strong desire to achieve something high or great. So when you create and you post something that's aspirational for people, you incite action versus just feeling. And that's a really big thing. And I think that it's really important to note that it's going to take some time for people to kind of develop what their brand is, what their inspiration is, and then how to create a post or a call to action that makes people want to aspire to have a healthier life, to have a fuller life, to reach out to you, and to also respond to you when you invite. So anyways, that's my spiel about aspiration versus inspiration. I've been thinking a lot about that lately in particular. But anyways, all this mindset stuff, you taking yourself out of the equation, overcoming your fears, it doesn't happen overnight. It really happens just with practice and with time, and you have to force yourself to just invite and send those hey girl messages, and you will develop a system that you're comfortable with over time. It's one of those things where you can have all the information in the world, you can listen to all the talks in the world, but if you don't go out and do the action, you're not going to develop a system or overcome. All about making connections with people. You're not selling something to someone. You're not trying to convince them of anything, and you're not trying to push them into doing something they don't want to do. That's not what we do at all. You're literally making connections with people, and you're sharing something that's worked for you, because we've all have stories of befores and afters, and how Beachbody and how these programs have changed our lives in one way or another. And so we're literally just making connections, and if someone says, here's my problem, and you have the answer, whether it's weight, or whether it's no energy, or whether it's they need a community that's uplifting, we have that answer. And we're just making the connection, and we are just telling people about it and sharing that opportunity. And so as a coach, that's what you're doing. You're simply creating an opportunity for someone to change their own life, just like when you were extended the opportunity to either be in a challenge group or to become a coach. Someone asked you, hey, I think this would help in some way or another. Are you interested? And you decided to say, absolutely, yes, let's do this. Someone didn't force you into it. They didn't say, you need to do this, et cetera, et cetera. We presented the opportunity, and we said, this could be really awesome for you for these reasons. Would you be interested? And then you took that leap. And that's literally what we're doing, is just extending that invitation to people and saying, hey, this might help. So the biggest thing to remember too, and there's a lot of big things to remember. I realize I keep saying that. But one of the biggest things to remember is that when you extend the invitation to someone, whether it's to a free group, a challenge group, when you offer that coaching opportunity, is that when someone says no, we need to remember And it's really hard to do, but we need to remember that that person is not saying no to you as a person. They're not saying no to your personality. They're not saying no because you don't have a six-pack. They're not saying no because of a number of reasons. They're saying no, not right now, because it's not something they feel that this program can fit into their lives right now. And that's fine, because like I said earlier, we're not trying to convince people and push them into doing something that they don't want to do. These programs only work if you take the tools that are given to you and run with it. And you have to want to do it in order to have anything change in your life. And so when you get a no or a not right now, which those are always not right nows, when you get a no, they're not saying no to you personally. They're still going to say hi to you when they see you. They're still going to answer your messages if you send one a week later. They're not saying no to you. So you just have to remember that. You take yourself out of the equation. As humans, just generally, we're all very vulnerable when we offer something that is important to us, when we just put it out there to someone. And so a lot of our identity, especially as a new coach, I feel like, a lot of our identity, we're trying to figure out where we stand with coaching, where we stand within our team, where we stand with the people that we're now reaching out to. And so a lot of our identity gets tied up into this notion that now you're a health coach and now you're a wellness coach, but you were someone before coaching came into your life. And when we extend that opportunity and we offer up something, so much of our identity gets tied into that offer and what someone will say, that when someone says no, it's crushing and it's really disheartening at times. But again, you were a person before you started coaching, and you will be a person if you ever decide, hopefully not, to quit coaching, but or you take a break or something. But your identity is not tied up solely in coaching, and so you have to remember that when you get a no, they're not saying no to you. And that was a really big, important thing for me about 3 to 4 weeks ago, because getting no's has been really hard for me over the last couple of months. And it causes, whenever I get a no, it causes me to take a dip in my inviting, to take a dip in my hey girl messages, how many I send out, and it causes me to have a dip in my consistency. But when I read, it's not you, it was like a huge mind shift for me just generally. And so consistency really is the key, and they're really not saying no to you. I've been reading the book Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. If you haven't read it and you're looking for something that'll talk about vulnerability and taking that leap and offering people what's on your soul or on your mind, that's a really good one to read. So anyways, it's really important to remember that your identity is not necessarily tied up entirely of being a wellness coach and what people think of that. And that's kind of why in any training that you're going to receive, especially social media training, 80% of your social media posts should be about you and your life, what you enjoy doing, your family, your friends, etc. And Beachbody should be like sprinkled in there, because it's not your entire identity. It's important, but it's not your entire identity. And so the other thing to think about, and this was something that Kim Carver also touched on and I thought was really important, and it spoke to me. When you start out as a coach, the amount of work that you put in will not necessarily equate the income that you're bringing in. And I think that that's something that we don't necessarily talk about a whole lot when you start out as a new coach, or even just in coaching in general. The money aspect can be really like a taboo subject to talk about. And I'm not going into numbers or anything like that, but you have to have, and he talks about this mindset shift. So employees, we all have jobs. You trade time for money. You know, I work 40 hours a week in exchange for $500 a week or something like that. So 40 hours of my time is worth $500. With coaching, it's going to seem like you invest a ton of time with little to no payback in terms of finances or money. And so we have to have a mindset shift to go from, you know, that you're creating value, and the more value that you create in someone's life or multiple people's lives will equal a greater amount of income in the long run, because it all compounds upon itself. So there is like this mindset shift that you have to undergo between being an employee and then being a business owner. And so that was something I just wanted to throw in there. I thought that was really important to touch on just in general. So just because as coaches, we are charged to a certain extent with creating value in people's lives and in our own lives. And by doing so and demonstrating that to people, we then allow them being the people to have more value in their lives. And then that opens the door for more opportunities for everybody. And I'm just trying to think. Okay, and so that was a very long talk, but the last thing I just wanted to kind of touch on was that as coaches, and it's really important to note this, especially when you go to message people for anything, but as coaches, we are mentoring and fostering relationships with people. We have to remember that they are a person, they're not a number, and it's always important to just realize that, and it'll make talking to them easier. People want to be treated like people. They don't want to be techniqued into buying something. They don't want to be sold something. They want to be told that I might have a solution to this problem, and here's how I can help you. They don't want to be a number on your page. They really are people, and that's how we need to keep continuing to treat them. And that actually makes inviting easier when you know that you want to develop a relationship with them. And so that's all for my talk right now. I think I went through all my notes. So that's it for me. I think Bree's on now. Do you want to? Hey, is there anything you wanted to add?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Unmute themselves and ask any question. Who's on the call other than Kennedy? I don't know whose number that is.
Oh, Sharice is on, but I don't think she can talk. She's just listening on her phone.
Oh. Okay. Kennedy, are you able to talk?
Yes, I can.
I know she's muted.
Oh, no, I hear her.
Hello?
Do you have any questions? Hello. Do you have any questions?
I don't think so at the moment. I know I'm gonna end up thinking of some, and I will reach out to you when I do, because I know going through the whole process and starting up, I'm sure I'll come across them.
Awesome. How's your training going so far?
It's going good. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing and what I'm setting up. I'm excited to see what comes of it.
Awesome. And I know that Taylor just got surgery. Hello?
Oh, you were going in and out.
I don't know if she can.
You're frozen, I think, and you're going in and out. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Samantha.
Okay.
I can see.
Wait, I think.
No.
Oh, I think she'll be back.
Yeah, she's probably restarting.
Yeah. But yeah, Kenny, I'm really excited to have you on the team.
Thank you. I'm excited.
It's a roller coaster sometimes, but I promise it's good in the long run. Like I said, the last 6 months have kind of been a whirlwind with all the emotions for me.
I'm sure.
But it's totally worth it, and the training is awesome, and it's constant training, which is amazing too. So
Good, yeah. Yes. I'm really, really enjoying it so far.
yay!
Bree's back.
Sorry, guys. I must have internet connection.
That's okay.
Can you hear me or am I cutting out?
Let's try. I think I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, what I was asking is, has Taylor had time to set up a one-on-one call with you or start a posting plan?
No, not yet.
Okay, I might I'm gonna talk to Taylor, but I might help her out because I know that she just had surgery and she might need some help setting that up with you, but that's kind of the next step after that initial phase 1 of training.
Okay.
So I will definitely follow up with you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it sounds like your talk was awesome, Sam. I'm sorry that I was late. I got out of report a little
No
bit.
worries.
A lot of it.
No worries at all. I think I jumped around a lot, but because it's the first time I've ever done something like this, but it was really fun. I hope it made sense, Kennedy
Awesome.
and Charisse.
I think you did a really good job.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? No?
I think I'm good.
Nope.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess we will all chat later then. Thank you so much, Sam. I can't wait to watch the rest
No problem
of
at all.
the day.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night. Bye.
Bye.